Hello, and a lovely, lovely day to you. I don't know where you are watching me from, so I'll say a lovely day. And so we thank you so much for joining us on Love at Home. This is the only show that helps you and your family by preparing you, teaching you, navigating your path through finances, through love, through communication. Better still, we want to work together with our families when Christ comes. That is why we are here on Love at Home. Our duty is to prepare ourselves, prepare our children, the people we live with, so that there will always be love at home. Today's show is another interesting show, and you'll be happy you joined us. I am Efia Sewa Mansa, and I want to welcome you especially, that you joined us today. This show today, we are looking at building a godly family vision. Building a godly family vision. And I'm sure you are wondering, why this? So today's show, we'll be looking at 4 major things. We are looking at family, we are looking at law, we are looking at legacy, and most importantly, spiritual direction. And to help me do this wonderful discussion, with me, a very fine woman like that. Yes, a very fine woman like that. She goes by the name Mrs. Benedicta Ama Kusi Apia. She's a private legal practitioner. Mommy, good evening.
Good evening.
How has your day been?
Oh, it's been a pretty good day.
Yeah?
Yeah, yes.
No rain, beatings, and all that. Or you experienced something small.
Some slight showers here and there.
And it's a showers of blessings,
yes,
you know.
yes.
So wherever you are, enjoy the showers of blessings in the month of May, as we see it everywhere. And this is who God is. There are times He showers on us. There are times you see the sun scorching, and as human beings, we are quick to say, we are not knowing the sun is so hot. When it is raining, we are complaining. This is how our God is. He's so loving, and He gives to us everything that we need at the right time. I don't know what you are going through at this time, but whatever situation you are in, there will always be day. There will always be night. So when your day is there, be thankful. When your night is there, be thankful. This is what Love at Home is all about. Mommy, thank you for joining us.
Too.
And to you, my lovely viewer, thank you so much. Join us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on TikTok. And you can also send in your contributions and questions to 0559 680066, 0559 680066. Now we start our discussion on building a godly family vision. Mommy Benedicta, today's world has so many dynamics. And families are trying to look for money. Some are trying to look for properties. Some are trying to see how they can leave legacies behind. Some are spiritual. Some are overly spiritual. What is your take when I ask about godly family, godly visions? What is your take on this?
Okay, so when we talk about a godly vision, I mean, let's start with the word vision.
Okay.
So vision is futuristic. You are looking at something in the future. So where I am now, let's say 20 years from now, usually visions are, I said futuristic, so it's a bit farther away, it's long term.
Yeah.
So if I'm here now, I'm checking 20 years from now, where do I want to be? And the thing about vision is not just materialistic, it's always value-based.
Okay.
So you are looking at what quality, what legacy, what improvements am I looking to achieve, right? So when we talk about a godly family vision, of course, and that sets it in context, we are looking at, we have all kinds of visions.
Yes.
People are aspiring to a lot of things.
Yeah.
But because we are Christians, then we are also looking at a vision which aligns with God's plans for us, His will for us, living within godly principles and setting that future targets that we will work towards or something that we aspire to.
So from what you just said, then you are saying that families can plan. For example, if you decide that the family should go on this path on spirituality, or we are certain spiritual vision, then, for example, 2 years' time, 1 year, or 4 years, where do I want to see my family going to? Is that what you are saying?
Exactly. Okay. And the thing about a godly family vision is that I don't want us to fixate it only on the spiritual.
Yes, very true.
When we say godly,
it encompasses a lot.
We are looking at things, principles, biblical principles.
Yes.
And you realize that I always say the Bible is a working man's religion. There are principles on health, on personal growth, on our relationship with Christ, on our finances, on wealth acquisition, on setting our house in order. So you realize that the Bible itself is multidimensional. So if you are building a godly family vision, then you are trying to unpack the various facets of your life as a family.
Very true.
Our wealth, maybe as we go further, we can break it down, but then you are looking at all the dimensions of your family life.
Do you think families these days intentionally do this? I hope I'm not hitting any here. And no nail here.
You know, when I first received the topic, I was like, I mean, we hear it all the time, but the truth of the matter is that most of us are living in survival mode, where we are struggling as a family to put food on the table, like working through bills, our job schedule. So that's where we are. Or for most of us, we have become so material. I mean, it's not bad, but the focus is on so much acquisition such that we have no time for intentional planning. So I think this topic is actually great for Love at Home to introduce, so that we pause as a family and say, hey, what is the plan for this family, right? What is the plan for the marriage? What is the plan for our retirement? What is the plan for the children? What are the values we want to embody? What is the legacy we want to leave behind, even as we are Christians or a godly family? So I think, like you said, now for most of us, well, I'm not in every family, but there isn't that intentionality because we are either in survival mode or trying to acquire assets, which are not bad, they actually, but it's like we need some time to pause and reflect and decide on where we want to get to.
Yes, I asked this because remember, beginning of the year, I treated a topic on family goals and objective. And I asked most families, and most of them, the objective I had, I want to build a house. We want to get that car. We want to go for vacation here. And you could hardly, all those who were into academia or education, I want to have my master's, I want to have my PhD. And you could not see value, intentionality of training children, spiritual growth, and all that. And that is why today I'm asking this. So if a family has not done this, what will be the repercussion?
I mean, you know, one of the popular things we say, which is actually true, is that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I mean, we say it is cliche, but especially with my profession and also where I'm coming from, you realize that most of us are reactive. We wait until, it's not we wait, because there is no plan, no clear direction that we are walking towards, and no clear, you know, when you have a vision, so we can put it this way. My vision may be 20 years, so every year, how do I work towards this vision?
And measure yourself.
And measure yourself. But when that is not done, you realize that life happens. So, and so crisis may hit, something may happen, and we are now wondering, where is this from? How did we get here? And oftentimes, unfortunately, the answer is because we failed to plan. We did not have a vision. We did not anticipate these things. We did not contemplate them. And so we did not have any measures to deal with them as and when they came. And so then sometimes we find ourselves, you know, like things spring up on us, and sometimes the outcomes are way out of our control. I mean, this is not to say if you have a vision, everything will fall according to plan.
No, not at all.
But
not at all.
By and large, when you plan, you are able to work towards something, and then, you know.
But let me ask you, why is it that we do not anticipate negative things? We always look at the positive ones. So, for example, the issue of death. As if it shouldn't be mentioned. But can we all live like that? Why do you think we have that mentality that don't talk about death, don't plan for death? This is even to the extent that somebody said, as for me, I'll not do any insurance on funeral or death or something. If you say that, it's because you want to die. Why is that the case?
I think it has some cultural underpinnings. Sometimes there are things we subconsciously or unconsciously pick along the way, and we may have been socialized with them. Or sometimes these are myths we came to meet, or certain conditionings, or a number of things happen. But death is scary. Nobody wants any bad thing to happen. For like every normal human being, you anticipate goodness, right? So it's more the thinking that if you think about death, or you talk about it, or you plan for it. You know, if you plan for something, it means you are hoping it will come to pass. So what is it that you are planning about your death and funerals and all of that? It means you may be invited them. That's usually some of the misconceptions out there. But you and I as Christians, we know that when God has a plan for each and every one of us, and God's will in our lives prevails.
That is true.
And so when you plan for the unfortunate or for the uncertain, it's because these things are inevitable. But it doesn't invite it any sooner than it would happen. It's just being a good steward, actually, stewardship, planning, setting your house in order. It includes death, unfortunately.
So my next question is in line with the same thing. For example, we have partners who will die unexpectedly. Then the whole family vision is gone. Why is that the case?
Well, a number of things could be happening, but primarily one of the key things you see is if only one person was carrying the vision. So sometimes, let's say it's the man as the head of the home. He was the one providing spiritual guidance. He carried the financial vision. He carried the goals. Even sometimes with parenting, the woman may be carrying a bit of the emotional and the homemaking, but the clear path, the clear direction, even for some. So there may not have been discussions or, like, you know, when you have a vision,
communication and plan.
Good.
For the family.
And there must be
one person who is carrying it.
One person is carrying it because maybe they think they are the ones better able. You know, sometimes you meet some people where the men think that maybe because I'm the man, I'm the one who must drive it, and so they do not include the men. Or one person says, I'm more enlightened, or I'm more, you know, for various reasons, or perhaps sometimes too, unfortunately, the other party may not be interested.
That is true.
I've seen families also where the man is very intentional and wants a certain, but the other
trying
party
to communicate everything. The other party is like, you are the man, do everything.
Do everything. Or the woman, you can even have one where the woman is also a bit more intentional. And wants the family to sit and say, what's the direction? But then the man does not allow it. So it can go either way. So when one party carries it alone and the other party is not a stakeholder, when they die, then the vision dies with them. And then the family falls into crisis. That's
a serious issue. So with this, what do you suggest? If a family is going through what we have just said, what do you think should be some of the things they should start doing?
I think for me, the family vision starts with communication. So I always say the husband, the wife, you come together. It's very important. We take it for granted. You see how in the office, in our careers, there is a plan. 5 years, I want to
Strategic
scale
plan.
up. There's strategic.
That is it.
I don't know why we think we can't do that for the home. And for some people, they even run to you with their frustrations that I can never get my wife to sit to talk or get my husband to sit to talk. So you dedicate time. And it starts from there. You sit. You ask yourselves, what kind of family are we? What kind of values do we want present in our home? What future or what plan or what goal do we want as a family? What kind of children do we want to raise? It starts there. And once the two of you meet, you begin to jaw. And you know, the vision must encompass every individual in the family has a vision.
Including the children.
Has a vision.
Yes.
But sometimes one person may impose their vision. So it's a meeting to ascertain. What is your vision, my wife? What is your vision, my husband? What is your vision, my child? Right? And with the children, as we go ahead, we'll look at, you include them in age-appropriate settings, depending on the age in which. But our children are not kids anymore. They are very much aware.
Yeah.
And as you aggregate all of them together, you begin to balance it out, fine-tune it. So it may not all happen in one meeting.
That is true.
Subsequently, you meet. And you know the thing, even in the Bible, you're told to write it, to write the vision.
Yes.
So sometimes it's good. I've entered some homes where this is a house where there is so much joy, peace, laughter, we forgive. Like all of these things on the walls. And you see, every day, psychologically does great things.
Yeah.
So sit, jaw, come out with. You can always refine the vision. You don't have to get it perfect in the beginning.
It's for you.
So sit and have a first go at it from time to time. So do family meetings. Is it every 3 months? Is it every half a year? You assess the vision, because you know what I realized, that in the vision may be 20 years, but the goals may have to be amended from time to time.
That is true.
When your children are toddlers, the values and certain things may be different from when they become teenagers or adolescents. So if you meet, right, and you know,
consistently, you get to know what is happening in the children, who is changing, what style should we use on this person, and all that. Exactly. So it will not be a cup for every child, but they will learn to be different by their own means.
Exactly, rightly so.
Well, let's look at the issue of how parents can sit to discuss wills. This is your domain.
Yes, this matter.
Discuss wills, properties, inheritance, family responsibility, problems arising here and there. You see, some families, they are well-to-do. The moment one, either the man or the woman, passes on, then there is confusion in the home. Is it because this was not discussed? Do you think there is the need for us to discuss wills, properties, inheritance, and all that?
I think, let me put it in context. I think there is a need to put each other's interests above the other. We care for each other, not put each other's interests above the other. We care for each other, not just by mouth. And you have built it over the years.
Yes.
There are honest, plain, open conversations you can have as a family where you sit and then you plan how you want things to be, the legacy you want to live. And you can actually invite your children into it. And this can be done, but this is usually done in, I wouldn't say ideal, in very mature. Done in, I wouldn't say ideal, in very matured
family
settings. But the truth also is that we've had instances where people have had these discussions and they have created more confusion than clarity. Because, you know, human beings, we are different. Sometimes we are motivated by greed, selfish ambition, what is in it for me, what can I get? And so when these discussions happen, then people begin to Why is this person going to get this above this? And then it creates confusion.
Why me and not?
Yes.
Okay.
So when people come to me, I always say, the Bible says, by wisdom, a house is built.
That is true.
So wisdom would need to apply. And that's why for me, I always say, so start from the basics. If you have been intentional from the beginning, you are improving on your communication skills, you are improving on your family values, the family is spiritually connected, we are inculcating biblical principles, character development, and all of that, then we put ourselves in a position where we can actually have these mature, sensitive conversations and plan. But if that is not your case, sometimes you have to plan nonetheless. So there are people who you would get some guidance and will navigate that space, but sometimes a bit of wisdom and discretion is needed.
Here and there.
But you have to plan.
Yeah.
And some levels of discussion and transparency will need to prevail. Yes.
Madam, this is very deep. And I am so fascinated about the topic we are discussing, because I see it happening in most homes. And most homes are degenerating into something else. One, because of lack of planning. And sometimes the plan we do has so many ambiguities. It is not too clear, the directions, because you can have a goal, and in the goal, you should be able to state how you hope to reach to the goal.
Yes.
But we only state the goal. As to which medium we are going to use. For example, if you say you want to own a house, that is a good goal. But how? Whether you are going to save monthly or you are going to do that. So once the goal is there and they say, I want to, okay, so then I can do internet fraud, do that, to the person he has achieved the goal. Meanwhile, may not be biblical. It may not be the purpose from God. So how do we differentiate the right goals that will help families? How do we go about this? Of course, I know it will be backed by Bible principles. For those who are not Christians and are watching us, what are some of the basic tips they can use?
So I always say, apart from biblical principles, we have legal principles.
All right.
We have human principles. All right. So there are things that, minus taking away the biblical text, okay, you are looking at as a fellow human being. How are you relating with the other person in a manner that you do not harm them, or in a manner that your actions do not have negative influence or consequences on their lives, right? You are looking at all of that. You're also looking at the law. So there are things that sometimes when you're working, you think law doesn't work until you are caught within the grips of the law. So there are people who have made money and have made properties, and now they can't enjoy it. They have to be on the run because the law is after them, right? So there are a lot of economic crimes and stuff like that. So I always say, minus biblical principles, to have your own peace of mind. Remember, there are a lot of economic laws in the country, from stealing to defrauding by false pretenses, right? When you are dishonest appropriation, impersonation, right? All of these are things that can come against you. And when the law gets you, most of these things are felonies, actually, and the consequences are grave. So I think that what's the whole point of amassing something you cannot enjoy? So then you are cautious and you are guided that your fellow human being, do unto others, your neighbor principle, do unto another what you would have them do unto you. And also remember that we live in a setting where there are rules and there are principles that are guiding us. And so you have to be a bit more conscious about all of these things to look at how you would work your values.
My family and my valued listeners and viewers, we are discussing building a godly family vision. We've talked at length. And you have no excuse to say, I am not a Christian. The country in which you reside has so many rules and laws that governs everything. And so for us to be good stewards, there is the need for us to go by laws. Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, continue with the discussion. Remember to join us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on TikTok. And also send in your contributions or questions to 0559 680066. We'll be right back.
Hello guys, I welcome you all to Gospel 101 TV show. My name is Selassie Evelyn and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this uplifting journey into the heart of gospel music and inspiration. What you made ye sui, yet de ekuko down. Get ready for a television show that will challenge, uplift, and remind you of the incredible power of God. Yeshawo Bose, yet the life-changing stories.
We are not going to marry when we go to heaven. It is very true. But if we are not careful, our body is heaven.
Good music videos. So tell a friend to tell another friend, say, Gospel 101 Jumedieno has come. It is not just a show, it is going to be an experience.
Gospel 101, showing this and every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Hope TV.
This is the Tabernacle, the Mishkan, God's portable dwelling place.
We are happy to let you know that we have a miniature sanctuary made by God's children. And we want to present this to you wherever you are, in churches, youth groups, organizations, whoever is interested in understanding God's plan of salvation as it is laid out through the sanctuary. We are ready to come to you. Please, just call these numbers: 054-873-1312. I repeat, 054-873-1312 or 024-512-6493. I repeat, 024-512-6493. You can talk to Alfred or Wilson, and we will be much more than glad to make our way to wherever you are, to come and explain to you God's plan of salvation as is depicted through the sanctuary. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Amen.
Our Lord is coming because He has promised that He will come back again and receive us unto Himself, that where He is, there we may be also. And I want to invite you, because in times like this, we need to know how to prepare to meet our God. The things you need to do, the steps you need to take in order to meet your God. Join me as we all listen and get ourselves involved in preparing ourselves to meet Jesus.
In times like these, showing Saturdays at 6 a.m. only on Hope Channel Ghana, your preferred Christian TV station.
Hello, you are welcome back, and we are so grateful that you are still with us on Love at Home. This is where we discuss issues bothering the family. Is it parenting? Is it how to talk to that beautiful woman, that nice man in your life? Is it how to bring the family together? This and many more is what we discuss on Love at Home. And today we are looking at building a godly family vision. We've talked at length what it means to have family visions, how you can start. What is it about? Is it about that goal? Is it about certain spirituality? or legacies or inheritance? What is it that you are looking at as a family vision? This and many more is what we're discussing. And I have here Madame Benedicta Amma Kwesi-Appiah, who has been having a wonderful discussion with us. So please call in your friends that yes, we are still doing it. It is time. Let's discuss family, building a godly family vision on Love at Home. Before we left for break, we were talking about wills and some sort of inheritance. Does it occur that people who do not leave wills create problems when they are gone?
Oh,
absolutely. In
absolutely.
any case, no, let me ask it this way. What is the importance of will? Maybe when I ask that, you can come back.
A will is a very important document. I always say it is, while you are living, it is a statement of intention, which will apply only upon your death.
Okay.
So a will is a document.
So futuristic.
It's futuristic. So a will is, while I'm here now, I'm planning and putting my house in order, stewarding what God has given me, because God is not a God of confusion. He is a God of orderliness. So ensuring that whatever assets that I had while I was living, or that I have, let me use present because I'm living, I actually put it in a document. And it's not just about assets. It can have other instructions on your burial. A number of things can go into wills. It's not just take this, you know. So putting that document together so that upon your death, we know what your intentions are. You have already distributed your assets. You know who can better take care of what. And you have done all of that so that there is no fighting, there is no confusion, there aren't long drawn legal battles. Because you know, when death happens, when there is grief, people are not, even regular people begin to act in unreasonable manner and stuff. And it's true.
Why?
And people's act, I always say people's true nature begins to show up. People's selfishness, people are selfish, people are greedy, people feel entitled. All of these things. To avoid all of these, you are planning for what should happen so that there is sanity upon your death. And there is proper, upon your death, people work so hard and then they die, and then everything they built just goes to waste and it's not properly managed. So while you are alive, God gives you that opportunity to plan, put your house in order and set your estate well so that there is no confusion, so that you also get to decide who gets what, and there aren't so many issues upon your death. And that is why each person must endeavor to absolutely have a will.
So I'm sure somebody watching us would say, what are you saying? I don't have any jeopardy. I don't have any property. I don't have anything. So I have nothing to will. So I'm just living. Is that true if somebody says this?
Everybody has something.
Okay.
I know sometimes people dispute it and they say, I have nothing. But I always say it depends on what you are looking at. It's because we do comparisons. We all have different levels of assets, but everybody has an asset because you have personal effects, right? You may have some household chattels, right? You may have some books, a number of things, shoes, all of these things. And I know the truth of the matter is that sometimes going through all these technical processes of documenting and doing a will, especially when you don't have substantial assets, feels like
it's
a waste of time and all of that. But I always say there are also simple wills where, apart from even the will, I always say, even though the will is the written document, there are ways in which you can set your house in order. Not to get so technical, we have customary law wills. People can also, you can put your house in order even before you leave. So, for example, we have gifts. There are people who, maybe he only has one small plot of land. While he is alive, he has ensured that this land, it is a Mr. and we don't even like the Mr. and Mrs. Kwesi-Appiah.
So what do you
Mr.
want? Educate us. What do you want?
We want your name and the man's name.
So Mr. and Mrs. Akusia Kusiapia.
Yes, so it is Benedicta Kusiapia and Michael Kusiapia.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
So say it again. Yes, let's get it right. Yes,
So
say it
I'll
again.
do instead because there are a lot of Mr. and Mrs. Kusiapia.
That is
so there
true.
is Benedicta Kusiapia and Michael Kusiapia. Remember, if you are married, it's not automatic you are using your husband's name. It's not
name.
gazetted.
Yes.
So maybe you may be using your maiden name. So use the name that is legally recognized, right? So that name together with the name of your spouse. When you do that, what has happened? It means that your spouse has a legal interest in the property.
Okay.
Do you get my point?
Yeah.
So that even when you are no more, if somebody is even coming to contest, it shows that you are joint owners. For some people, they are lucky. You realize you have ill health, you are not so strong, something little. You have sat with Webusuya Pengi, a few, or maybe your elder, if your family is not reasonable, certain key people who can act as witnesses. There was a recording done. I mean, we don't advise those things because sometimes it's contested.
It can be altered.
But usually my point is, do you want to go and spend legal fees on an asset so small? It doesn't. So depending on the size of your assets, there are still ways and means by which you can plan and ensure that your house is set in order. But oftentimes it's because we think we don't have a big house and cars and money in accounts, but there are little things we have. And you can get a lawyer that you know sometimes in your church, in your workplace, an acquaintance, an old schoolmate, to guide you through the process. It's not so difficult. Ensure you document the little that you have, because sometimes that little thing may cause so much controversy upon your death. Yes.
Well, I am looking at this issue. There are some women, please, I'm not being biased here. There are some women, as they were raising the family, probably the man would say, oh, allow me to do everything, manage home. Then later on, the man can come back and say, he didn't contribute a dime. Everything is from me. That, you said, can be true or is wrong?
So because we are in a Christian setting and we are looking at a godly family vision, if you have a vision, you would realize that a number of things make a home. So there is home management, there is taking care of the children, there is assets, the acquisition of assets. So there are a number of things. So in our family, it may well be that we sit together and then we say that based on our family circumstances, I think maybe you as a woman, could you stay home? Remember, these things must not be forced. It must be mutual communication and whether the woman is okay with it. So if it's because there usually isn't that understanding. So has there been clear communication where we know that the mother is bearing a lot of the emotional load,
that is it,
housekeeping, house caring, house management, ensuring that time schedules are kept in place, all of that, right? And then the man also uses his time to acquire assets for the family. When these things happen and these conversations are had, then fairness must prevail, that you realize that each has contributed.
That is true.
But unfortunately, there are even times where some women, we talk about it in circumstances where maybe the woman is not perhaps very much educated and therefore, like by default, she stayed at home and nurtured, which is a lot of service, a great service.
Great job.
Great
because
job.
In any case, you're going to pay for that service.
Yes, a great job. But then sometimes the other spouse feels because it's not quantifiable in monetary terms and they didn't contribute anything. And now women are also being advised that, I always say these things are a bit sensitive, because I've had conversations with people who sometimes the women tell you, I was so career focused, I didn't focus on my family, and now I have no relationship with my children. My children are wayward. I wish I had stepped back a bit. So it's about the family values. If you have a vision and you know it incorporates the children, And you know, sometimes we leave it as if it's just the woman's job. Raising children and parenting is both the man and the woman.
Yes.
So it's when we sit down, we have honest conversations, look at where the family is going, what each person can contribute, right? But now also, for some women, it seemed, that's what they came to me, that the default is, oh, I'll take care of the home, and then the man will bring in the money, and then in the end, things don't go so well. So as much as possible, we also now encourage women and all that. Staying home doesn't mean you cannot have any skills or not be employed or earn an income. And so you can also do something. But what we are advocating for is that we sit together, we look out for each other, look at what each person can do, their strengths, right? And then we all plan together. And
now, Benedicta, let me ask you, in your practice life, has it occurred to you, or has it happened that a man will come to you and said, my wife had A, B, C, D, and I'm coming for the inheritance because we are legally married? Because in our cultural setting, we are quick to say that, oh, why is that the case? Does it happen?
I think it doesn't happen often. I haven't personally encountered one, but there are reported cases.
Okay.
And sometimes you even make fun of it, of those ones where you hardly have men actively pursuing the properties of their spouse. But men have always found ways around these things. Sometimes they are claiming certain insurances, making certain claims on, you get it, but the traditional or the average man...
Aren't we punishing the men?
You see, it's because we don't have understanding of what marriage and family is.
Thank you.
If we understand that the two are one. And you are building together, and sometimes, my ladies, let's be fair, we come with an entitlement mindset that if it's for the man, it's yours. So if it's for him, you can claim. Then equally, if it's for you, he should also be able to claim, because by virtue of the marriage, both of you look out for each other. I always say that as Christian couples, if we understand the biblical principles that we are guided by, right, we can plan in a way that is scripturally based. So why are you doing a will and your people die and then we want to disinherit? There are instances where maybe a man dies, he has about 3 or 4 houses. The woman wants to lay claim to all the 4 houses. Meanwhile, the man's parents may not even be living in a decent place. I don't know, there's so much. Planning is where make sure that your parents, it asks you to honor them and take care of them in their old age. So if I were planning, is there something that if the unfortunate happens, is there something for my parents? Is there something I would want to give to maybe 1 or 2 of my siblings, to the family, to the church? How am I taking care of? But don't do outside show and then leave the home, you know. So how have I taken care of the needs of my immediate family? Because that's your most pressing responsibility. And then what about the other, you know, people around me? So I think that when we are more compassionate and human and really imbibe the principles we always talk about, it will guide us into always, you know, ordering things in our own setting.
Can someone will out a property to a church?
Of course.
Tell us more.
Yes, so you see, the thing about a will is that it is dividing your assets in a manner that reflects your values.
Okay.
Right? And your persona. So if you were somebody who loved the Lord and you love mission and the church, right? I don't see why, if I'm doing a will, I cannot say that this portion of my assets, sometimes even people have businesses, we hear it in other divisions and all, where the income goes into evangelistic activity so long after their death, they are contributing to mission.
Even though the person is dead.
The person is dead.
But the person is still working.
Yes.
For God.
It's still working for God.
How lovely it will be.
Yeah. That is a legacy. right? So it's possible. A lot of things are possible in your wills, right? You can actually leave. And now we are encouraging Christians to do that. Because every time we say, oh, all I have comes from God and all of that, you know, while you were alive, you were tithing. So in your assets, right? It makes sense, or it's actually very nice to imagine if a lot of people made donations to the church in their wills, or they made provision for the house of God. And sometimes even those who are not religious, they have set up foundations that's doing great things for the world, you know, giving opportunities to people out there. So I think there's a lot of possibilities out there in terms of what we can do and the legacies we can leave, even upon our death.
I asked this question, but somebody has just sent me a message, so I'll ask again. Maybe the person wasn't watching. Some people believe discussing wills or property means that you are inviting death. I think I've asked this, but I want you to say it again. Do you agree?
No. No, it does not invite death. It is only you planning. And you know, sometimes even people have a lot of myths or misconceptions about wills. They even think that when you will the property, as I am here, I can will my property and then while I'm alive, I use it. It's no longer there. When the will is read, it is what is existing that will go to the person. I'm only saying, should the inevitable happen. This is what I want, this is how I want my assets to be distributed upon my death. It is God's plans for us, especially when we are believers. Even when we are not believers, you will not die one day sooner simply because you sat down to prepare a will. And I've actually had women who come to you and complain that I'm trying to talk to my husband. You know, sometimes when the unfortunate happens, maybe you see it happening in the life of your friend, your family member, your neighbor, then it forces you to sit and assess your own situation. Where maybe the woman tries to bring the conversation with the man and say, oh, my dear, I think maybe let's talk about your assets. And hey, why are you interested in my properties? Why do you want to kill me
before my time?
No, you get it. All of these show mistrust, and you know, not. If we love each other and we understand what the family stands for, then doing wills should not create fear.
So then we do not understand what it means to prepare wills. And by so doing, it puts the interest away from people. Again, if the idea is not to bring problems or confusion at home, what else will be the other benefits of preparing or making wills?
Okay, so if you prepare a will, like I said, a will gives you the I don't want to call it the right, but it's really the right to actually decide what happens upon your death. You know, usually upon your death, because so over my dead body, whatever happens upon my death, it's none of
not there.
If I could come back from Asamando and come and look at what's happening, you know, all of these things. But if you decide to have a will, then you control the outcome. I mean, nobody can 100%, but to a large degree, you control the outcome of what happens. That's point number one.
Okay.
Point number two, you are able to adequately secure the interests of your loved ones, right? Everybody has a loved one. And sometimes it is sad to see that sometimes you can even see children that you know if their father were living, this would not be the life that they would have lived. But simply because they did not make a will, you'll be surprised. You have people who say, oh, when I die, my family members, they are good. You'll be shocked how those people you hold so dear will treat your loved ones. So you have an opportunity to secure, right, your loved ones. Okay, so that's a second benefit of making a will. The third is the obvious, that you prevent chaos. And then the fourth also is that you are able to do responsible planning. I may have a number of assets. God will bless us in our lifetime. I can know, for example, which of my building, I may have a car, I may have a business, I may have some properties. among my children, my spouse, who is better able to do what? Because, you know, upon your death, if you die and you have not made any provision, it is now the law. Who doesn't know the specifics or the dynamics of your household? And now we are going to do 1/5, 3/4 of something and divide, and then we create problems. I know a man who once told me, and it was actually a beautiful thing. He said, upon my death, this one amongst my children, he's not so bright. When I gave birth to him, these were, so I think he would need some assistance to be taken care of. These ones are actually very sharp. I can, with these things, when I get, so you could see that intentionality, looking at his own family dynamics and his family, the type of children he had. But if he had just died intestate, then
that person was going to suffer.
That person was going to suffer. So it helps you plan for the peculiarities, right? You actually, to also ensure that your assets are not wasted. People spend their lifetime building assets, and then upon their death, other people just come in and mismanage it simply because can you imagine who the representatives, we have your Ebusuya Penny, but you can set up people you know are responsible enough to be your executors under the will, you know. So I think it has a lot of benefits. You can even state how you want your funeral to be organized. A number of things can happen in your will.
That is interesting. My issue has to do with people who may have inherited family properties or family assets. Then they decide to will them to their children or their spouses. What is your take on that?
It's actually wrong in law. So the Wills Act tells us that a person can only will their self-acquired property, which means property which belongs to only you, which you through your hard work and sweat have acquired, is what you can will. So you cannot will property that belongs to family. Maybe you only inherited it. When you inherit property, you are only a custodian. And the law places, we usually call it fiduciary duty, but like you are a trustee, managing it for the family. And the proceeds is supposed to be for the benefit of the entire family. So you cannot give that property to your... Sometimes also, somebody can have assets with their wife. It's a joint property. Then quickly they put it in their will as though it's their self-acquired property. These things are not done. Or it's a corporate property. So we have different types of property. You have to ensure that whatever you are putting in your will is your self-acquired property, not family property, not property you have acquired with someone. You can only at best will your stake in that property and not the entire property, right? So,
but if I have been willed this property, and I can also, do you have a word like re-will?
Yes.
Okay. You can do that.
So it depends on the language of the will. There are technicalities around it. So for some people, they're able to say, oh, maybe I'm giving you this house, but you only have a life interest in it. So it means that while you are alive, you are allowed to use this property. Or maybe if you are my daughters, if you marry, there are those that have certain conditionalities. But without any of those conditionalities, the presumption under Ghanaian law is that
it's for you.
It is for you, right? We have all these. I don't want to bring all these tenancy law, all those technical. But if the person gives it to you, then it's a gift, which becomes part of your properties, and therefore you can further will it. If there are no conditions, yes.
Well, our time is fast gone. And we would want you to advise us. We are looking at building a godly vision, which comprises of legalities, inheritance, legacies, spirituality, and everything. Advise us, and especially to the young people coming.
I think one of the great things about being young is the fact that you have an opportunity to actually start right and start well. for most of our older folks, sometimes it's more, oh, if I had heard this earlier, they didn't even know.
Yeah.
But for us as young people, now there are countless opportunities. There is so much information. There is mentorship. There are Let's not always Snapchat, TikTok. You are listening
They should
to
watch important programs like this. Please tell them.
Watch important programs like these.
Love at Home.
Love
Yes.
at Home. So you have an opportunity to actually decide ahead of time what kind of family you would want to have. Because it starts even with choosing right.
That is true.
Yeah, so what should you look out for in a spouse? How love must manifest, how you can build up on yourself now while you are young, have capacity. What kind of values do you want your children to have? What do you want to be known for? How are you planning your social life? How are you planning your spiritual life? How are you planning your financial? How are you planning your marital, your parenting? So the various dynamics of your life. When you are young, it's actually a great opportunity. Sometimes we take it for granted. And so I think it's great that we begin to look at all of these things and be more intentional.
The word is intentional.
Purposeful, right?
word is
Let's not just let life happen to us and just go through the motions. But we actually have an opportunity to do that. But sometimes too, you may be old. Not old, but you are grown and you are going through life and some things are a bit hard for you and you are wondering, maybe even looking at the way the marriage is, you're wondering, where do I even start from? But I always say, when there is a will, there is a way. You start small.
True.
Take it to God in prayer. Begin to make small adjustments. Bring up little conversations. Sometimes start with your children. You co-opt some. Sometimes when people see results, they actually buy into.
So there's a need for you to appreciate as we win. Any little win, appreciate it. Celebrate it.
So don't throw your hand in the air or in despair. Whichever phase of your life in which you are now, it's always never too late to plan and have a vision and make things right. And God being on our side, I think we can navigate all of these.
Yes, with God on our side, we are more than conquerors. My lovely viewer, this topic has been so interesting. We've learned a lot. We need to do some unlearning and do relearning. By so doing, we would be able to remove the myth that we have in society concerning wills, concerning properties and inheritance, concerning what marriage should be. Some people have the version or the mindset that we are married, but have your own, have my own. In that case, how do you communicate? How do you bring the family together? Whose value will the children decide to pick? And it becomes a problem. But today's discussion has taught us so many things, that there is the need to come together as families. If you are a young person, hey, you are fortunate that you are watching this program. Learn from now how you want to carry yourself, how you want to plan yourself. Remember, our God is a God of orderliness. And it doesn't mean that if you plan, you are not asking God to plan for you, or God will not lead you. But it means that God should help you, and God is ready to go through your plans with you. Until same time next week, when we come into homes again with another interesting topic on Love at Home. That's Safia Sewa and Mrs. Benedicta Ama Kusiapia. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
and to
you
you
for
out there,
having me.
we are grateful that you joined us. Thank you so much and good night. Bye-bye.